Is the dream of living in sunny Los Angeles for under $8,000 a month with a family for a pipe dream, or a realistic possibility? The glitz and glamour of Hollywood often overshadow the gritty reality of the city's cost of living, which has reached staggering heights. For many, the idea of making ends meet in LA is a constant struggle, pushing even middle-income families to the brink. This deep dive will dissect the true cost of living in Los Angeles for a family of four, exposing the brutal truth. For most, $8,000 a month simply isn't enough to escape the homeless trap in this notoriously expensive metropolis. The crushing weight of rent, where your $8,000 disappears first. Let's not mince words. Housing in Los Angeles is astronomically expensive. It's not just a bit higher than the national average. It's a jaw-dropping 132.9% to 140% more expensive. This isn't just a number. It's the primary reason why an $8,000 monthly budget for a family of four in LA is a fantasy. Consider this. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles hovers between $2,056 and $2,596, while a family of four would undoubtedly need more than a one-bedroom. Even a three-bedroom apartment in the city center averages around $4,483.18, and outside the center, it's still about $3,767.33. Think about that for a moment. If nearly half of your $8,000 budget is gone just on rent for a modest three-bedroom outside of the city's prime areas, what's left for everything else? Not much. Many sources suggest that for a family of four, monthly accommodation costs can range anywhere from $1,800 to an eye-watering $5,000. Even at the absolute lowest end of that spectrum, factoring the need for space for four people, it's highly improbable to find anything remotely suitable or safe for a family at the lower range, especially if you're aiming for a decent school district. To truly live with some semblance of comfort, many families report needing to pay upwards of $4,000 to $5,000 a month for rent alone. This immediately puts a massive dent in that $8,000 budget. The reality is, finding a family-sized apartment in LA for less than $4,000 is becoming increasingly difficult, making the $8,000 dream immediately unsustainable. The grocery gauntlet, eating your budget away. Once you pay the exorbitant rent, your next major hurdle is feeding a family of four. Groceries in Los Angeles are not immune to the city's high cost of living, running about 9.1% to 11% more expensive than the national average. While this percentage might seem smaller than housing, it adds up significantly when feeding four mouths, day in and day out. For a family of four, grocery expenses can easily range from $700 to $1,000 per month, if not more, depending on dietary preferences and where you shop. Let's break it down with some examples. A gallon of milk is around $4.52, a loaf of bread $4.06, a dozen eggs $7.39, and a pound of chicken fillet is about $7.54. These are just basics. Factor in fresh produce, snacks, and any specific dietary needs, and that budget quickly balloons. Families report spending upwards of $200 to $250 per week on groceries alone, even when shopping at more affordable stores like Food 4 Less or El Super and actively seeking out sales and coupons. If you prefer organic options or specialty stores, those numbers will climb even higher. When you're trying to stretch $8,000 a month, every dollar counts. A significant portion of your remaining budget, after housing, will be eaten up by groceries, leaving precious little for other necessities, let alone any luxuries. The unseen drain, utilities, and everyday living. Beyond rent and food, the hidden costs of daily life in Los Angeles can quickly deplete your funds. Utilities, for instance, are about 7.3% more expensive than the national average. For a family of four living in a three-bedroom apartment, basic utilities, electricity, heating, cooling, water, garbage can run around $265.86 per month. Add internet, which is about $70.29 a month, and mobile phone plans, around $65.70 per person per month for a basic plan with data, and you're looking at a substantial chunk of change. For a family of four with two adults, that's potentially an additional $131.40 just for mobile phones. Here's a rough breakdown of typical monthly utility costs for a family. Electricity, heating, cooling, water, garbage, $200, $350. Some sources cite an average of $182.44 for a 915 square foot apartment, but a family of four will likely use more. Other sources say California's average electric bill is $159.64, and water is $77. So, for a family, this could easily be $300 plus. Internet, $70, $100. Mobile phone plans, $130, $200 for two adults. This easily pushes utilities to $500 to $700 a month, further eroding the $8,000 budget. Navigating the concrete jungle, transportation costs. Los Angeles is notorious for its car-centric culture and sprawling geography, making transportation a significant expense. Transportation costs are roughly 36.9% to 38% higher in Los Angeles compared to the national average. For a family of four, especially one with children who might have various activities, this can be a budget killer. Owning and operating even one car in LA is expensive. Factor in gas prices, around $4.77 per gallon, car insurance, maintenance, and potential car payments, and you're looking at hundreds, if not over $1,000 a month. Public transportation exists, but for a family or for navigating a vast city like LA, it's often not practical for all needs. A monthly pass on public transport is about $83.48 per person. For two adults, that's already over $160. Many families will need at least one car, if not two, to manage commutes and daily errands. The average monthly transportation cost for a family of four can be anywhere from $250 to $500, but realistically, with car payments, insurance, gas, and maintenance, it's often closer to $1,000 or more. Some data suggests annual transportation expenditure for two adults with two children can be $17,890, which is nearly $1,500 a month. This expense alone can push an $8,000 budget well into the red. The childcare conundrum, a hidden financial abyss. If your family of four includes young children, childcare costs in Los Angeles can be absolutely devastating to your budget. This is often the biggest hidden expense that families overlook or underestimate. Los Angeles is one of the cities with the highest child care costs in the nation. Consider these average monthly figures for one child. Infant care license center $1,800 to $2,500. Preschool ages 3 to 5, private $1,200 to $2,000. Nanny services full-time $3,000 to $5,000 plus. If you have two young children requiring full-time care, you could easily be looking at $3,000 to $5,000 or even more per month just for childcare. This single expense alone can consume a huge chunk, if not all, of your remaining $8,000 after rent, making it virtually impossible to live comfortably. Even if one parent stays home, the loss of that potential income needs to be factored into the overall financial picture, still impacting the ability to live on a tight budget. Beyond the basics, what else does a family need? So far, we've covered the absolute bare bones: housing, food, utilities, and transportation. But a family of four needs more than just survival. They need things like health care. Even with employer-sponsored health insurance, out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, and copays can add up quickly, especially with children. Clothing. Children grow and clothes wear out. A family of four needs a budget for apparel. Personal care, toiletries, haircuts, and other personal hygiene items are ongoing expenses. Education. Outside of public school, while public schools are free, many families opt for extracurricular activities, tutoring, or private schools, all of which come with significant costs. Entertainment and recreation. A family needs to engage in activities for mental well-being and bonding. Even cheap outings like a movie or a visit to a museum can quickly add up for four people. Savings and emergencies. No budget is complete without factoring in savings for the future, unexpected emergencies, or retirement. Debt repayment. Student loans, credit card debt, or other financial obligations further strain an already tight budget. Miscellaneous expenses. The countless small, unexpected costs that arise in daily life, from household supplies to minor repairs. When you start adding these essential categories, the $8,000 budget quickly disintegrates. Even a conservative estimate for these other expenses could easily be an additional $1,000 to $2,000 per month, pushing the total monthly requirement well beyond $8,000. The real numbers, why $8,000 is a mirage. Let's combine some of the conservative estimates to paint a clearer picture. Housing, 3-bedroom. Outside city center, $3, $800. Groceries, $800. Utilities, $600. Transportation, conservative, with one car, $1,000. Childcare, for one preschooler, $1, $500. Subtotal, absolute bare minimum for essential family, needs $7,700. This leaves a mere $300 for everything else, including health care, clothing, personal care, entertainment, savings, and any unexpected costs. If you have an infant requiring full-time care or 2 children needing care, that child care cost alone would push this basic total far beyond $8,000. If you need 2 cars for your family or live closer to the city center, the costs skyrocket. According to various cost of living indexes, the estimated monthly cost for a family of 4 in Los Angeles, excluding rent, range from approximately $4,862.20 to $7,455 before rent. Add in realistic rent for a family, and you're already talking about numbers well over $8,000, even reaching into the $10,000 to $12,000 plus range to live with any degree of comfort and security. One source even states that a family of 4 requires $7,455 per month, excluding rent. Another states that to live comfortably with 3 kids, you likely need to make at least $600,000 to $750,000 annually, implying monthly expenses far exceeding $8,000. The homeless trap is real, the peril of underestimating LA. The title of this piece, Homeless Trap, isn't hyperbole. For families on a tight budget, underestimating the true cost of living in Los Angeles can quickly lead to financial precarity. When every dollar is stretched to its limit, a single unexpected expense, a medical emergency, a car repair, a job loss, can trigger a cascade of financial hardship. The data unequivocally shows that $8,000 a month for a family of 4 in Los Angeles is insufficient to cover even basic living expenses, let alone provide for a stable, comfortable, and healthy life. Families attempting to live on such a budget would likely find themselves constantly stressed, making difficult choices between necessities and living paycheck to paycheck, with little to no room for savings or emergencies. This constant financial pressure can be a significant contributing factor to housing instability and, ultimately, the homeless trap that so many individuals and families face in high cost of living areas like Los Angeles. Conclusion: no. You cannot live in Los Angeles for less than $8,000 per month for a family of 4. In conclusion, the answer is a resounding no. You absolutely could not live in Los Angeles for less than $8,000 a month for a family of 4, not in any meaningful way that would ensure stability, health, and well-being. The data overwhelmingly supports this. The exorbitant cost of housing alone consumes a significant, often overwhelming portion of that budget. When you factor in the elevated cost of groceries, utilities, transportation, and particularly childcare, the $8,000 disappears long before a family's fundamental needs are met. Los Angeles, while a city of dreams, demands a substantial income to sustain a family. For those considering a move to this vibrant but expensive city, a realistic financial assessment is crucial. The dream of living affordably in LA with a family on an $8,000 monthly budget is, unfortunately, a harsh reality check in the face of the city's unforgiving economic landscape. To thrive, or even merely survive, in the City of Angels with a family of 4, a significantly higher income is not just recommended, but essential.